Welcome back to Ultimate Movie Recap. Thanks for supporting us. Today I am showing a 2012 American military science fiction action film titled Battleship. Watch out for the spoilers, just enjoy and take care. In the opening scene of the movie, we are informed that in the year 2005 scientists have discovered a planet similar to Earth whose environment and weather are similar to Earth and they name it Planet G. Later in 2006 NASA develops a transmission device and with its help, they were trying to contact that planet. They have named the mission the Beacon Project. In this process, they were sending signals to that planet from their satellites situated in the Earth's orbit every 24 hours. In the next scene, we see two brothers Alex and Stone. As it was Alex's birthday, Stone says to his brother Alex to start new innings in his life. During their conversation, Alex notices a girl named Sam. She asks for a chicken burger, but she could not get it as the kitchen was already closed. Alex approaches Sam without listening to his brother Stone and assures her that he will bring a chicken burger within 5 minutes. Immediately he runs towards a shop and notices it closed. Later he enters the shop by breaking the roof and takes a chicken burger, but during this process, he damages some of the items present in the shop. Cops immediately enter the crime scene and try to neutralize Alex. Despite it, he hands over the chicken burger to Sam. Later we come to know that Sam is the daughter of Navy Admiral Terrence. Stone becomes furious at Alex as he is a commander in the Navy. Later Alex gets enlisted in the Navy forcefully so that his future becomes bright. Later, after 6 years, we are shown the scene of a multinational naval exercise called Rimpac 2012. In this event, total of 14 nations were participating to develop friendship among the nation. Later we come to know that Alex has joined the Navy and represents the USA during the game. But due to his attitude, the American Navy team loses the game. We also come to know that Sam and Alex are in love with one another. Sam requests Alex to ask her father Terrence for the approval of their marriage. Later scene shifts to a function where all the crew members of a naval battleship are getting retired. In its place, they launch the USS Sampson destroyer and Stone is appointed as its commander. We also notice Alex being very nervous to talk about his relationship with Sam's father Terrence. He goes to the bathroom and does some practice. At the same time, Japanese ship Captain Nagata arrives there, with whom he had a brawl during the event. Later, we see both of them being questioned about the incident before Terrence, but the two do not tell the truth. Terrence warns Alex that it may be his last game and suggests he enjoys it to the full extent. Stone warns Alex that he can be terminated after the event. Upon hearing it, he becomes apprehensive and asks Stone for help, but he could not do anything. Later we see Sam, who works as a physical therapist. She meets an ex-soldier named Mike whose legs were amputated during combat. Mike feels very dejected due to his condition, but Sam convinces him for a walk. In the next scene, we come to know NASA has discovered 5 unidentified objects heading toward the Earth. One of the objects hits a satellite and changes its direction. The rest of the 4 objects fall in the waters of the Pacific Ocean near Hawaii. The one which changes its direction crash lands in Hong Kong. Due to this, many people die, and when they investigate the object they come to know that it does not belong to the Earth. Rather, it belongs to the planet that NASA was trying to contact. Later we notice naval officers keenly observing the objects which have fallen in the ocean, but they could not identify them perfectly. Alex with 2 other officers reaches that object in a boat to investigate further. When he touches the outer surface, some activity arises in that object and it throws Alex far away. The team quickly helps their friend but notices giant laser beams are shot towards the sky, creating a shield around the entire area covering the 3 naval ships. A fighter jet tries to go through the shield but explodes when it makes contact with the shield. Later 3 huge alien ships emerge from the water which were looking very dangerous. One of the alien ships blasts a wired sonic shockwave causing heavy pain to the ears of the crew members. All the officers present over there understand that the aliens have come to fight and they all prepare to confront them by firing over them. Immediately the alien ship responds by launching strange missiles over the John Paul Jones destroyer. After seeing this, Officer Stone tries to attack the alien ship from the Sampson battleship, but it receives heavy bombarding from the alien ship causing the death of Stone and many of his crew members. After seeing the death of his brother, Alex becomes very depressed. When he reaches the John Paul Jones battleship, he is given the charge of commander as he is the only senior member alive and he decides to engage the alien ship. He also asks for help from the Japanese battleship Miyoko commanded by Captain Nagata. When Captain Nagata fires on the alien ship, they retaliate by sending numerous grenades and crippling the ship with a huge explosion causing it to sink. After seeing the Japanese ship sinking, the fellow crew members ask Alex to rescue them. Initially, Alex negates them, but when the rest of the officers force him, With no other option, he diverts the ship towards them for the rescue operation. Seeing the ship retreat, the aliens stop attacking them. Later, the alien ship launches several weird shredding machines. Two of them completely destroy the Air Force installation. The third one enters the urban centers and completely destroys the transport system by collapsing the bridges. At the same time, Sam notices an alien shuttle landing on the hill, which was on an agenda to take control of the observatory. Later, we notice a police officer warning Sam and Nick to move away from that place. He further blocks the road with one of his vehicles and moves ahead with the remaining vehicle, but Mick does not yield to the warnings of the police officer and walks towards the laboratory, prompting Sam to follow him. On the other hand, we see Alex, who is examining the unconscious alien who was rescued by his naval officer. Later, they remove the helmet from his head and everyone gets astonished after seeing the creature, as it resembled just human. At that very moment, one of its comrades blasts the ship and takes him away. This incident makes Alex very concerned and believes that some more aliens could be on the ship. To check their presence, Alex and his teammates go inside the ship, and to their surprise, they notice an alien who is trying to sabotage the weapons system. Some of them try to bring the alien down, but the alien knocks them one by one. Now Alex thinks of a plan and tells Cora to handle the weapons control, and he runs outside, while the alien was chasing behind him. At that very moment, Cora fires the cannon and destroys the alien. On the other hand, we see Sam at the observatory requesting help by using the radio present in the vehicle. At that very moment, a scientist named Carl, who is associated with the Beacon Project, approaches the two, but he looks very scared. Here we come to know that the aliens have taken the control of the observatory to send signals to their planet to ask for more reinforcement, which proves detrimental to humanity if they become successful in sending the signal. Now they could send the signal with help of the satellite only when it aligns with the observatory after 5 hours. One of the crew members of the battleship discovers that the helmet used by aliens is to decrease the effect of the sunlight. He further adds the alien species could have characteristics like a lizard, which avoids bright light. The battleship crew attempts to sort out how they can kill the aliens with their radars failing, basically making them blind except if they have a direct line of contact. Captain Nagata recommends that they utilize the weather buoys around the ocean as identifiers. By estimating unusual high water displacements, the location of spacecraft can be known. Impressed by his plan, Alex makes him the commander of the ship. On the other hand, Sam tells the men that she could not contact Alex, who is on the battleship, due to the obstruction of the shield. Carl informs them that they have a device present in the facility which could avoid the shield and send the signals. Sam and Mick insist Carl bring the device from the facility. Initially, he hesitates to bring the device due to the presence of aliens in the facility. Finally, he agrees to bring it, and when he tries to exit after taking the device, an alien sees him, but it does not do any harm to him. Carl brings that device safely to them. Now the scene shifts toward the battleship and it tries to engage the enemy. Initially, they could not get any success, and further 2 alien ships try to corner them. But Captain Nagata cleverly handles the situation and the team could destroy 2 enemy ships marching toward them. Sam contacts Alex through radio and tells him that aliens have taken control of the observatory to send the signals to their planet. Alex becomes very concerned after listening to her words and warns her to abandon that place immediately. At that very moment, Alex and his team notice another battleship moving toward them, but they could not engage it properly, so Alex decides to move the battleship toward the mountains. Alex and Nagata set up their sniper rifles and wait for the enemy ship to receive sunlight. The giant spaceship arrives to attack the crew and begins to prepare its weapons to fire. The 2 of them fire at the enemy's glass shield, allowing the sunlight to enter and making them blind. Sensing the opportunity, the crew fires at the enemy indiscriminately and sinks it with an explosion. But their celebration is cut short as Alex sees giant shredders heading their way and he orders everyone to abandon the ship. Within moments, the ship gets destroyed by the shredders, sending most of the crew into the waters. On the other hand, Sam looks very sad after seeing the battleship getting destroyed, but Mike makes her understand that many of them will save their lives by using lifeboat. Both Sam and Mike move towards the facility to stop the aliens from sending the signal, as Alex could not do anything as of now. This time Carl does not accompany them. Later, Alex sees decommissioned battleship USS Missouri, now being used as a museum. He decides to use it to confront the enemy and asks for help from its retired crew members. They do some minor changes and head towards the mothership. When the alien ship sees the USS Missouri battleship, it fires a barrage of grenades, but Alex cleverly evades the attack by maneuvering the ship when his crew drops the anchor into the water. Now the 2 ships come face to face with each other. USS Missouri fights back against the enemy with whatever weapons it has and destroys it completely. Consequently, the shield around that area disappears. At that very moment, The satellite aligns with the facility to send signals, but before it could send the signal, Sam and Mike damage the transmission cable. In this process, Sam's foot gets stuck in the vehicle. Sensing the opportunity, Alien advances toward them, but Mike confronts the enemy bravely, and in the process, he removes the helmet worn by it. Even without the helmet, that alien tries to kill Mike. Fortunately, Carl arrives there and knocks down the alien, and all the three move away from that place. As the scene shifts towards the battleship, we notice Alex launching missiles over the facility. Unfortunately, the dying alien ship launches several shredder machines over USS Missouri. But Alex gives the order to bombard the facility without any hesitation. When the machines were about to annihilate the battleship, surprisingly the Naval Air Force comes to the rescue of the crew. Later we see Naval Admiral Terrence felicitating the crew of the battleship along with Alex, Stone and Mike for their bravery. Alex is also offered to command a battleship in near future. Sam requests Alex to talk to her father about their relationship. This time Alex courageously moves toward Terrence and informs him about the relationship. Initially, Terrence does not agree, but later he invites Alex for lunch, through which we can conclude that he has accepted their relationship, making Alex happy. However, someplace far away from the army installation, a family finds a weird alien object on their farm. They are stunned to find an alien inside, through which we can infer that the invasion is not over. This marks the end of the movie. Thanks for watching.